Why must audiences watch this piece? It's a really great piece. I think it does a really smart job to be able to push the theatrical form within a virtual context and expand the capabilities of what a Zoom performance is capable of. It's a really smart piece. The writing is great. It's a top-notch cast of performers who hit it out of the ballpark. And I think overall it's a really fun, engaging, and provoking experience that I think people are going to want to have. Hello, everybody. My name is Michael Alvarez. If you want to know more about this new virtual interactive play, please watch this video. When I first read the script, I was 100% on board. It was such a brilliant script. It was so nuanced, and the characters were so grounded, and I really felt like this was a story that had to be set today. It speaks about issues of gentrification. It speaks to progress and the cost of progress. It speaks to racial bias. It speaks to all these issues that are so alive in our world now, and it views them through the lens of the building of the freeway through Echo Park in a 1960. So it was a piece I felt that was important to create today, and I really wanted to be part of that project. I've worked quite a bit in like site-specific work or like immersive work. So that kind of genre of work is something that is very exciting for me. How do we bring audiences into the world of the play, and how do we blur those lines? So this piece, in the formal sense, really kind of brought in the idea of this of the well-made play, the classically written play, but also brought in this whole other element of this kind of whodunit, kind of murder mystery aspect as well. So bringing these two forms together is really exciting to do. And you know, this is now my third project that I have done in a virtual setting, and it's just a very different process, right? So in a regular rehearsal, you would be in a rehearsal room with all the actors, and then you're able to work together to create the piece. And there's a kind of there's a liveness to it, and there's an intimacy to the process. And I have found that this process has that, but in a different way. I mean, we get brought into the actors' homes. We get to see where they live. We meet their pets. We meet their roommates. We meet their significant others. So it's a very different way to rehearse. You also work very one-on-one, which has kind of its own kind of bonding experience that I think is really, it's special. It's a special process that is just very different from how you'd work in a traditional sense. You also have to balance that you are sort of working in a theatrical setting, but also you are also kind of working in a cinematic setting. So you have to kind of change your approach to kind of acting for camera. The actors have to become their own sound people. They have to do their lights. They have to do their setup. They need to become their whole crew. So from an acting perspective, they aren't only actors, they are now their whole crew. And so that has been kind of kind of its own experience to kind of work through. In this piece, when the audience they enter the world of a 1960s precinct in Boyle Heights, and they are invited to help solve the crime of these two couples who were murdered. So as the evening goes on, the audience gets to meet the suspects and kind of figure out for themselves who solved the murder. So it really is kind of a mystery to unravel the murder that occurred. We have a really fantastic team for the piece, starting with the playwright, Matthew Paul Olmos. It's my first time to collaborate with him, and it's been a really wonderful experience. He has such an eye for character and for language, and he's really wonderful to collaborate with. As you know, this is a virtual production. Things are shifting kind of based on how do we engage audiences, how do we adjust this, how do we adjust this, so we can better serve the form. And he's been so flexible to work on that. It's produced by Chris and Alana from Echo Theater that have been so supportive and so wonderful this entire process. If there's anything that we need in production or help to figure out the technical aspects, they have been there 100% and are so invested in having this be the best show that it possibly can. And our cast is really terrific. It's a really diverse cast of such talented actors that I'm so excited for you guys to meet and to engage in. So in this piece, audiences are going to be engaging with performers. It will all take place on Zoom. So then once you enter the world, you will turn your cameras on, you will turn your mics on, and you are an active member of the community in Boyle Heights at that time. You'll be able to engage with the actors. They're going to see you, they're going to talk to you, you are going to talk to them. So it really is a fully immersive experience. I think that this piece is a real fun challenge for actors because they have to learn, obviously, their text, which is in the script, but the text is actually blocks that they use to answer questions with. So because it is an interactive piece, it is really driven by the questions and the interests of the audience. So the actors have to have all the answers prepared in their mind, and they have to know just all the facts of this character. So in case they're thrown curveballs, they know how to stay in character, improv, and engage as the character would. So it's asking them to do like a multiplicity of things at one time. When I first read the play, it was a history that I didn't know. I didn't know about the freeways and how they were built. I just really took them for granted when I lived in LA. It was just something that I knew that was there, and it got me from point A to point B. When I started to read the script and to really research the history, I began to see what it actually cost for me to have that freeway, to get from point A to point B. And it really just got me thinking about what do we sacrifice for the conveniences that we have today. And I think that this is something that I really hope that audiences begin to question for themselves. Things around us and this is something that historically goes all the way back to the founding of America. Who and what do we sacrifice for what we have today? And I think as we go forward in this world, that is a question that has to be at the forefront of like our minds as the world changes so rapidly. How do we play our part, and what choices do we make, and what do we support to try to build a more equitable and a more fair world for everybody? You really don't want to miss this piece. It is entertaining, it is provocative, it is emotional, it's engaging. It has all the things of a really fantastic evening of the theater. So I say, buy your ticket, come meet these characters.